Welcome to another Q&A where you ask the questions about hockey performance training and I answer them. So let's start. How many weeks before you change workouts? With my athletes, I program 4-week cycles if they're more on the beginner side and 3 weeks for stronger guys. I found that more advanced athletes, because they have been training for longer and are closer to their genetic limit, have less gains to make within each training block. So we need to change things up more frequently, otherwise they will plateau. And the point of smart programming is to avoid plateaus so you can make continuous progress. A newbie can add 5 pounds or more to their squat every week for a long time, whereas someone who already squats 400 pounds won't. With the latter, it's more realistic to shoot for a 5 to 10 pound increase in his rep maxes per each 3-week training block, not per workout. Yunus, what alternate exercises can I use for dips? I have tendon damage in and around the elbow. For instance, I cannot do flat palm push-ups. Have to use push-up paddles so my wrist is in line with my forearm and in a hammer position. And dips and bench pressing is very painful due to the damage in my elbows. Any suggestions for alternate exercises? I'm 50 years old and past my prime, but my son is following your program from your book that we bought with his personal trainer. Thanks in advance. 2 things I recommend you try: different implements and different limb positions. Just by making small tweaks to these, I would expect you to be able to press without issues. When it comes to implements, give thick bars a go. Dips and bench presses feel so much better on the joints when you use a larger diameter bar. Dumbbell bench presses using a neutral grip, meaning palms facing each other or with your elbows at about 45 degrees, are another option. So is benching with a football bar with angled handles. Other than those, you can also do push-ups on parallettes that will keep your wrists and forearms in a neutral, aka hammer position. Over time, work up to feet elevated push-ups on parallettes, larger range of motion, great chest exercise. So lots of options for you to test. I've been getting a lot stronger overall in my last 2 months in the gym, getting back into beer league hockey, but I noticed the stronger I get, the quicker my body gasses out on the ice. Should I not do higher set for muscle conditioning, or should I leave that all to calisthenics and cardio? That has never been my experience. The only way I can picture getting stronger, eating into your conditioning, is when you train like a powerlifter. Low reps of 5 or less per set, long breaks of 4 or 5 minutes between every set. You'll get strong, but you will not be in shape to play sports. Other than that, good basic training should not wear you out on the ice. If you use supersets or trisets on assistant movements, which I do recommend, let's say you go back and forth between dips and rows on an upper body day while keeping breaks around 90 seconds, that will at least give you a baseline of general fitness. Because of the incomplete rest periods, your heart rate stays up and you're getting a mild cardiovascular training effect in addition to a nice pump. In any case, I would need to see your exact workout routine to pinpoint what's going on. Also sounds like you would benefit from basic conditioning work in addition to lifting. Jump rope, push a sled, run hills. My hockey conditioning manual shows you exactly how to do all that. It includes 2 16-week conditioning programs to boost your stamina. I'll drop the link in the description for you. Finally, check your nutrition and body fat. Many guys think they're getting bigger eating in a calorie surplus, when in reality, too much of the added mass is body fat, which will absolutely gas you out fast. Someone left a dope comment about my video on Connor Bedard's draft combine fitness test breakdown. Your comments about Connor Bedard were insightful. Back in the late 80s, 90s, I worked with Canucks as their first strength and conditioning coach. I used Dr. Jack Blatherwick's Team USA testing and skating and correlated them with dryland tests. Electronic time skate, 20-meter sprint on land, forced platform VJ, not mats, long jump and vertical jump, bench press with average team body weight, etc. There was a very high correlation between those tests and on-ice speed and agility. Also, skinfold corrected mid-thigh girth had the strongest R value to jump and on-ice and dryland speed. The standing triple jump was also tested and seemed to give an insight into athletic ability. We had 2 first-round draft choices that were 2 standard deviations slower than our average on-ice sprint. We had a goalie in full equipment who was as fast as they were. What I started to believe was there is a difference between a specialist and a high level of athletic ability. The better athletes can change more with training and coaching. The simply good hockey players plateau. The good athletes are capable of development for a more extended time. Coaches don't build athletes. The old Scottish adage, you can't put in what God has left out, and Tarasov's belief, I can teach them to play hockey, I can't teach them to be fast. Fast often mistaken now for less slow. Strength and conditioning coaching can only make you less slow. the future of Bedard will be interesting. The scouts need to explore more about the athletic background of the player. Was he any good at other sports? Owen Nolan started later at hockey than any other of his draft year, was fourth in 100 meters at all Ontario high school and high jump over 6 feet in high school, never started hockey at 5 years and played no other sports. Super interesting to learn that this NHL coach saw a high correlation between off-ice tests and on-ice speed going back all the way to the 80s and 90s. And the point he makes about scouts looking into a prospect's athletic background, a number of top NHL players could have found success in other sports as well. They were just great all-round athletes. He mentioned specifically Owen Nolan doing track in high school. The Sedin twins were very good football players in their youth, but eventually chose hockey. Martin St. Louis was a gymnast. Jerome Iginla made Canada's national junior team in baseball. Anders Lee got offers to play Division I football. Also, check out these facts from a recent survey. 98% of NHL players played another sport between ages 5 and 14. Nearly 80% of NHL players continued playing other sports between 15 and 18. The average NHL player began skating and playing hockey after the age of 4 and did not specialize in hockey until they turned 14. The average age of specialization was not until age 16. The takeaway here, especially for the parents, is you don't need early specialization to reach a high level of performance in hockey. Play different sports, which will allow you to become a better athlete overall, which in turn will raise your ceiling as a hockey player. Should you eat carbs if want to gain mass? Yes, you need a calorie surplus to gain muscle, and it will be hard to achieve by going low carb. I will say this though, keep your calorie surplus small. Don't go overboard with bulking, you will just end up fat. Lean gains is the name of the game for athletes. When it comes to carbs, starches especially, rice, oats, potatoes, pasta, you'll find out only through trial and error how much your body can handle. Using myself as an example, I have skinny fat genetics. In the past, when I tried to bulk up following the conventional bodybuilding approach of high carbs and 500 calories above my maintenance per day, way too much of the added mass was extra body fat. So I learned from that, I need to keep my surplus at 200 to 300 calories per day and not go crazy on starches. This has also been my experience training many other skinny fat athletes. So you gotta test different approaches to see how your body handles carbs. And then comes the natural follow-up question. How much mass should I gain in a week if I'm in a slight surplus? So difficult to give a blanket answer. I don't know your age, your height, how much you weigh now, how lean you are, how long you have been lifting properly, all factors that come into play. That's why the best I can do is give you basic guidelines. If you're a tall, skinny guy, well underweight, then you can get away with a bigger calorie surplus, which means faster weight gain. You might end up gaining 15 to 20 pounds of body weight in 3 months. Note, that's body weight, not pure muscle. That's what, a pound and a half per week? If you're on the skinny fat side, you might even have to do a cut first, just so you're lean enough to go into a proper mass gaining phase without getting too fat in the process. Or you will do a body recomp with about 200, 300 extra calories per day above your maintenance. No more than that, which translates to maybe half a pound of added mass per week. Again, you have to figure out what body type you have and how easily you gain fat when eating in a surplus to pick the right nutrition strategy for you. How many sets do I do these for? He's referring to my video about the 5 best plyometric exercises for hockey players. General guideline is 3 to 5 sets of 3 to 5 reps. It really depends on the jump variation. As a hard and fast rule, we cap anything at 5 or 6 reps because power output drops significantly beyond that point. So there's no reason to do 10 vertical jumps or 15 lateral bounds in a row like so many hockey players do. You're no longer training for maximal power, which is the whole purpose of jump training and plyometrics. Your opinion of gym workout after hockey game? Ideally, no. You would want to lift in a rested state for the best gains. Having said that, ideal is not always optimal, especially at the pro level. So many games, so much travel, you really don't have much time to squeeze in gym workouts on off days because rest is the priority. In that case, yes, lifting after a home game is okay. I've done that successfully with my junior and pro teams. For details, read the chapter on in-season training, in-strength training for ice hockey. Link is below in the description. A comment on my how strong should you be after 1 year of lifting video where I listed what I believe are very reasonable and achievable relative strength numbers within your first 12 months of serious training. To recap, bench press 1 to 1.25 times body weight, squat 1.5 to 1.75 times body weight, deadlift 1.75 to 2 times body weight. That means a 180-pound man would bench around 200, squat 300, and pull 350 pounds. He says, I've been lifting for 6 months right now, and I don't think I'll be able to reach these numbers after a full year. However, I'm not really concerned about that because my main goal for those first 6 months was losing weight. And so I was operating on a constant caloric deficit. Under those conditions, I'm very happy with my newbie gains, and I'm looking forward to increase my caloric intake soon and start building more muscles. Here's the thing with newbie gains. They are mostly neural, meaning you learn to lift ever increasing weights as your technique improves and your nervous system becomes more efficient in that movement pattern. So you don't need to eat in a calorie surplus to gain a lot of strength as a beginner. For muscle gain, yes. Strength gain, no. Just look at male teenage gymnasts. They don't bulk up by eating a ton of food. It would be detrimental to their performance. More mass makes moving your body through space harder. But they develop incredible strength eating more or less at maintenance. What does that tell you? I'm not ragging on the guy who left that comment, just saying to raise your standards. Even if you have extra body fat to lose and eat in a deficit, that does not mean you should not expect fast strength gains in your first year of serious lifting. Because I don't think most guys understand how truly magical that short newbie gain window is. I've had junior and D1 hockey players add 50, 70, up to 100 pounds on their squats and deadlifts in one single off season. So 3-4 short months when I put them on a real training program. That in only 4 months. Raise your standards and go after it, because you will never again gain strength as quickly and easily as in your rookie year as a lifter. If building more muscle, adding 50 plus pounds on all your big lifts and transforming into a much more powerful athlete within the next few months sounds like what you want, then check out my Next Level Hockey Training 3.0 program. All the dozens of testimonials, success stories from players just like you are available at nextlevelhockeytraining.com. I'll drop the link in the description. Another comment on my Conor Bedard fitness test results video. My under 13 nephew just did his AAA version of this with his team last month and came out dejected. He finished first in every single category except one in which he finished last, the bench press. He couldn't bench the bar, 45 pounds. I tried to tell him that the bench press is not an effective measurement of hockey players because I bench a lot and I suck, but he still wants to improve his bench. The bench press is the least important big lift for a hockey player. A big squat plus big clean equals fast and explosive athlete. Someone else jumped in with this comment. Tell him to do wide grip slow push-ups at 13. His growth plates aren't finished expanding and growing. He shouldn't be lifting weights at that age yet. Unless he's 6'2" at 13, then I would say never mind. It pisses me off to see these old myths being circulated in the comment section of my videos, always left by some armchair quarterback who thinks they know training when in reality they just parrot what they hear or read on the internet. If you follow my stuff, you should know better by now. The myth that lifting weights stunts growth needs to die. Plenty of research exists that shows lifting, when done right, does not harm children or turn them into midgets for life. I covered this topic in depth in chapter 16 in Strength Training for Ice Hockey. Check the description for the link. All the research is there. Next comment. Congrats, great video, short to the point answers. The 4x2, 4x1, 5x1 rep scheme has been awesome for max strength. Thanks. Team sport athletes across the board do not know how to train for maximal strength. Few hockey players ever venture below 6 reps per set, so they miss out on the rapid strength increases that carefully placed max strength cycles produce. That's one example of such a cycle where I peak athletes by having them do 1 week of doubles and 2 weeks of singles in a 3-week block. If you have built a good foundation of muscle mass and strength in previous phases, going into doubles and then singles will produce some juicy personal best that will surprise you, just like this commenter found out. Can I do a sprint session on Friday if I have a game on Saturday? Yes, and that is actually a smart approach. Recent studies have found that doing a high velocity, explosive workout within 24 hours or so before an athletic event benefits performance more than just taking the day off. That's why during hockey season, I like to schedule a short speed workout involving jumps and sprints. Could also contain an Olympic lift variation the day before a game. Or you could even do it in the morning when your game is in the evening. Try it out and see how your legs feel in the game. You should feel good. By the way, I'll be doing these question and answer videos on the channel regularly, so make sure you write your question for my next Q&A in the comments below after watching this one. Glad I found your channel. I have been training for a while and my split is back/chest, arms, legs. What do you think about this? Also, can you make a video or list some exercises that would be best for conditioning and explosiveness? For explosive exercises, search the channel for the word plyometric. Those will help improve your explosiveness. Do the same for conditioning. I've got a few videos up on that topic as well. About your program, without seeing your exact session design, exercises, order, sets, reps, rest, tempo, impossible to give an accurate critique, but in general sounds too much like a body part split, which, as I have covered many times on this channel, is far from optimal for an athlete. Much better training splits exist. This next video gives you 3 of them. Check it out.